we truth seekers, real, raw. Yo, we truth seekers. Yo, I know this life is a fight, but I'm following Jesus the light. Real, raw. Yo, we truth seekers.
What's new?
By.
Me? I'm just tired.
Yeah.
It's, so did a business trip. So I was supposed to be gone. But I left Monday. Tuesday was all day business meeting. I was supposed to be up there today. We were not supposed to be streaming today because I wasn't gonna make it. Actually,
Right.
Soul was gonna stream. You were gonna stream.
Yeah, I was gonna
Possibly
do
do some
something else,
stuff.
music. Yeah, something. I was
Need
gonna figure
something.
something out.
And then my wife my wife used to do in-home health care. She did that for a number of years, and one of the kids that she used to watch passed away this weekend,
Oh no.
and the funeral was this morning in West Virginia. And
Mm,
so she was gonna take our kids, but that's like a 6.5 hour drive there. Then they had to sit through a funeral,
right.
and then another 6.5 hours back. So
Yeah.
instead of that, I drove back in the middle of the night with a bag of gummy worms and some Fanta.
That's all you
after not
need to stay up,
after being
baby.
up all day,
Yeah.
you know, when you drive, you're tired when you start hallucinating things, and so like
Right.
I don't remember half the I had
I
music
think
playing at part of the time.
right. I think only time I've been like that driving is when I drove to Indiana, and it was 9 hours, like 9 hours and 15 minutes one way.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Yeah, those things.
It was like the only
I
time
used
I
to be able
really
to.
thought I was gonna have to like pull over on the side of the highway and just be like, screw it. If a cop pulls up on me, I'll just be like, yo, I had to sleep for a second. Like I
I had to
couldn't
sleep.
make it, yo.
I had to sleep.
But
I
I
used to be
made
able to
it
do a
though.
lot more. I used to be able to just do those 9, 10 hour whatever trips, just go straight. But
Yeah.
so part of the reason, one, yes, I was tired. Part of it, I got a rental car, and it's a really nice rental car. It's like super smooth, so it kind of is like
Right.
it does
Comfortable and
not
stuff.
help. Like I almost was like I really should get something with bad shocks so like I could stay awake. Like it was just like it was like riding on a cloud. So I was like, oh, this is kind of comfortable
Right.
as I'm passing people on the highway and trucks are these massive trucks at like 70, 80 miles an hour. But I just stopped for like 30 minutes. I was like, maybe if I get like a 30-minute like power
Yeah.
nap, that'll help.
Yeah. Just yeah.
It didn't
Just need a
really.
little energy.
Right.
It didn't do
Just
nothing.
pulled up to a gas station that was closed and just like, so let me just set my timer and see if that works. But
Yeah. I just
no,
like the drive there. I get tired anyways when I sleep. Like I get worn out when I sleep, I should say. And or not when I sleep, when I drive. But um so the way there was a lot worse. The way back it didn't seem near as bad. Well, once I got
yeah,
out of Indiana, like leaving Indiana, it started like snowing and raining, and then it's like 5 to 6 lane traffic, and there's like exits in the middle on the left and the right. So I'm like, so you gotta know which way you're going, and then there's cars like bumper to bumper going like 45 on a 60, and you can't see because it's foggy, raining and stuff. So
see,
it's
I'm one of
like,
the few people that likes driving in bad weather. Like I feel
right,
like I'm not gonna fall asleep. So
yeah,
that's like the guarantee. Like if it's rainy or snowy or something like that, like I'm not gonna
yeah.
fall asleep. So that's
But
actually good for me.
once I got out of the little city area, like I wasn't driving in the city, but it's the highway that goes through it, like in the city. So it's like a lot of people entering and things like that, exiting, and it was in the morning and stuff. But once I
Mm.
got out of there, it was just on like the open road where it's just open fields on the sides and stuff like that. It was fine. But West Virginia, I almost got in an accident twice on the way back though.
West Virginia is that's where my wife is for the funeral. She's actually heading back
Yeah.
in like she
Uh,
should be back in like an hour and a half. But
Dude, we were
mm,
on my way back. It was starting to get dark out, And West Virginia roads, it's like 80 going around like the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
roads and stuff like that. Out of
Like
nowhere,
Mario Kart.
out of nowhere, this deer just jetted in front of the out in the road in front of this car, and we were all going like 85, 90, and this deer jetted out in front of the car, just jumped out, and the front car swerved like this and barely missed it. The second car hit its brakes and like went to the left into this lane like this. And then the car behind it, which was the one in front of me, did the same thing. Then I had to hit my brakes too, and we literally all had to come to a complete stop on the road where it's 80 to 90, people going 80 to 90 around curves. They can't see you and stuff, and it's like almost nighttime. But nobody ended up
Mm.
hitting anything or anyone. We all end up just all going down the road. But
Did some
that was
Tokyo
almost
drifting.
bad though. Yeah, I was almost bad. Like I don't know how the front car didn't like swerve out or flip or anything. The way it, the how quick it had to jerk going at that speed, I couldn't believe that it didn't lose control. To be honest with you, like
Mm, crazy. There's West Virginia's got some crazy mountains to go up and down, and I don't mind the mountains as much as I don't like flat. Like the worst drive I ever had to do was in New Mexico. There's nothing in New Mexico,
yeah,
especially northern New Mexico,
it's a desert and stuff. And
and it is so far in between exits with gas stations. I remember thinking like I was low. I was low on gas, and I was like, you know what, I can make it to the next gas station. I don't know. I don't know how we made it to the next gas station because it was like
yeah,
it was so
that's
long.
that's kind of how like Arizona was going to the Mexico border when I went over to Mexico one time.
Yeah,
We flew down. I think we landed like in Dallas or something, but then we flew out of there to Arizona or something like that. And but then we rode on like um rode in vans to cross the border into Mexico, and that's how it was. It was just like nothing but just sand everywhere. It's just desert everywhere, nothing around. Like
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places, but I don't want
yeah,
to drive there. I don't
yeah.
want to do. Oh
Um,
man,
The only like the other thing that happened on that trip was somebody just being a jerk. Like I was trying to get off. I was trying to exit the on ramp onto the highway, and the only spot that was open I could get into, I went to get in there, and the person like that was in the truck right here sped up and blocked me off. So I literally had to run off the side of the road and come to a stop before, and then somebody else had to let me in.
people on the roads, man.
Yeah,
We talked about me and road rage.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think you and your dad are probably the opposite on the road. Well,
yo,
maybe you're the. He
he
probably was like. He's probably was. You're like the younger version of him on that.
maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't think I could ever drive as slow as he drove,
Yeah, I remember.
and like it was like
Mom kept
people never really understood.
apologizing. Yeah.
People never understood unless you actually rode with him,
Uh,
like what it was like to drive that slow. Because like if you got tickets for driving too slow, then that's slow. You've gotten
yeah.
tickets for driving too slow.
Yeah.
That's slow, and he would drive
Yeah.
slow.
It means you're being you're being a danger to the other people.
Right. God forbid that you were on a 2 lane road and you could not get by him. Like you were going to have a line of like 20 cars somewhere behind him, like wondering what's going on
Yeah.
and why this maniac was still on the road driving like 20 miles an hour in a 45 or
Hey, he
50.
got there safe though. He said, "I'm getting there safe."
He got there.
Oh,
We were all dying of old age by the time he did it, but we got there.
ain't it? Oh,
Uh,
I think probably my distractions lately have probably been like YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a
YouTube.
break, sit around, start watching YouTube. 5 hours later, it's like crap. It was like an hour and a half an episode of something I'm watching, like like hour and a half of video, and
Oh
I
man,
lose track of like.
we got to get into distractions because there's so much that you just brought up some stuff. I was like, man,
All right, we can get into it. Let's go ahead.
we got to get into some distractions. All right. God, we come before you. Just thank you so much for the time that we have just to hang out and talk about distractions and help us to kind of find some solutions to distractions in our lives. Help those who are listening to be able to hear what you have to say to them and find some solutions for distractions in their lives too. And let's make your voice clear to us in what we have today. Amen.
You
All right, distractions. Okay, so you're the one that brought it up when for the topic. So
yeah.
what was the driving force behind it?
Uh, Probably. I don't remember exactly. It was probably. I don't remember. It was a few. It was like a week ago. So, but uh, but I think just thinking about life and time is something that's important that you can't ever get back. It never stops. It don't matter how you feel or nothing what's going on. So it's like um I think I was just overlooking like how a better way to use time, and then I got me into thinking of like how easy it is to get distracted by any type of noise or anything like that, or any movement. Like it's just so easy to get distracted from um what you need to be focusing on. And then
Yeah,
it seems like every time you start focusing on it, even more distractions and things start happening around you to try to get you not to focus on it. So I think that's
right.
probably was what I was doing.
I used to think distractions were not like an intentional thing. Like it was just kind of like coincidence. But I really feel like it's deeper than that
Right.
when we talk about distractions. So I was thinking of like so a distraction should be anything that kind of like pulls your attention away or pulls your focus away from a specific purpose or goal or something that you have or something that you were trying to like intentionally focus on.
Right.
Um, and so that could be anything, like literally anything. Whether you, like we talked about just YouTube, right? And I think like I talked to one of my several of my coworkers are actually addicted to TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, TikTok and YouTube. My wife, I'll even throw her under the bus. She is addicted to like scrolling on reels and stuff like that. Like she could sit there for I don't
Yeah.
know how long and just be like, and it's crazy to think of how easily like those things like can be a time waster,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Especially since like half of the videos and stuff that you see, like a lot of them are similar. Like especially on TikTok. TikTok, they be like the same thing, like the same people
Yeah.
doing the same dance. It's just different,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like pointless stuff that's not going to help anybody accomplish anything. It's just distractions. Like,
Right. Well, and it's mind numbing too. Like
yeah. Yeah.
it's something to where, and I think this is a very key element to distractions. It's not like the only thing, but I think one of the things about distractions is it's something that you don't have to actually put effort into thinking about or effort into, focusing on. Like it's there, it's
Yeah.
provided for you,
Yeah.
and it like you don't have to work to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Um, yeah, it definitely shows up when you don't want it to.
right? Because YouTube
Like,
videos, like even I do it. Like I'm just like sitting there and just watching, and I know it. Like in my mind, I'm like, I really should like stop and do something else right here, or
Right.
get back to what I was supposed to be doing. But it's
Right.
just like so easy to kind of
I
just like
would
swipe your thumb up.
I'm like, oh, it's only like 20 more minutes. I'll just watch this real fast. And then I'll forget that I was supposed to do something after that video and then click on something else and start. And then, like, halfway through that one, I'm like, oh, now I can't do
Two
it
hours
though.
later.
It's like, crap.
2 hours later.
Ain't it? Yeah, that's
But I think it's a key element to
procrastination.
distractions.
I
Yeah,
see. I think that
procrastination is a bit.
I thought about it before too, and I think mine a lot is just like if I were to act as soon as I thought about something, then I wouldn't be watching the videos like that. I'd be focused on doing something like whatever I was or whatever came to mind, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and I think procrastination is a big thing that you pointed out. Like if it's something that you're not specifically like wanting to focus on or wanting to do, like even if it's something as simple as like yard work or something around the house
Yeah.
um or even as like spiritual as like reading your Bible or something like that, you can always find something that's going to like, hey, put that off. Like, you can come back to that.
Yeah.
It'll always be there.
Yep. Yeah. There's no time limit on that.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing is that a distraction will always promise you more time than you actually have. Because that is like one of the lies that'll tell you is like you will have time to do this later. So focus on
Right.
me.
Right. And then something else comes up later and you don't have time for that. That's why it
Right.
came to your mind at that time because something else was going to happen later.
Right. And then like there's certain distractions that can tell you that lie, and it can be devastating that because you lost that time. Like you should have called that person, or you
Right.
should have spent more time with this person. And oh yeah, well
That's
I'm getting distracted. I could do
of
something else. And
procrastination though. A prime example on that is with my car. It has like I think a 2023 inspection sticker on it still from December because I had everything set up one day to get what I needed fixed and then get it inspected. It would have been done with, but I didn't feel the best that day, so I was like, I'll just do it another day. And now it's a year and a half later, and it still hasn't been able to happen because now it's like now something else happened to it. So it's like I procrastinated on that day, and it's been a year and a half, and still I haven't been able to get it fixed when it should have been fixed already.
right, right. Like I do it all the time. Like there's so many different things that and I don't consider myself a procrastinator, but I do fight those distractions or get. So with tasks, I'm a very task oriented type person.
Right.
So if it's like a task needs to get done, I'm fine. But relationally, a lot of times I kind of put things off. Um, like talking to people or picking up the phone or something like that. And so those are the things that kind of like that distraction kind of just like, you know what? Like I need to focus on what's important or what's the right thing. Um, and a lot of times that means like prioritizing like, okay, I see this thing coming to kind of like derail, but I need to like set my sights and focus. I put the horse blinders on, which I always like that description of like the horses when they were like pulling like buggies and all that stuff. They always had the blinders on so they couldn't
Yeah.
see
Right.
anything around them, distract them or scare them or something like that. They just saw what was ahead.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we have to kind of like intentionally put blinders on so that we can focus on what we need to focus on, and then take them off if you need to. But make sure you
Right.
you focus on the right thing.
Yeah. Have the discernment to know when to take them off, when to have them done on for real. Um. Yeah. I mean, I get distracted too easy. I do. I don't know if it's just because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ADHD or something or what's going on, but I just get distracted so easy. But one thing with
I
me
think
too is like I can't. The thing with me, like I never really got into reading, right? Because it would more kind of irritate me a little bit because I could read it and I won't remember anything I just read. Like it won't retain. I have to read it over and over, but and then it's hard for me to stay focused long enough. I get like I get kind of hyper and antsy and stuff like that type
yeah.
of thing.
I wish I could say I knew all the medical stuff, like, because I think that yeah, like all of us have different ways of comprehending and like focusing on stuff. Like, there's some of us that can just read stuff and just
Yeah,
completely get it right then and there. Some people have like that photogenic memory, which I was always jealous of. People that could
right.
just like look at something and just automatically remember it no matter what. And there's some people that need to have like different styles of doing stuff. Like, um, some people are more auditory. Like listening to something is a lot like sticks with people better,
Right.
um, and helps people focus more. Doing like a task or multitasking. I know there's a lot of talk about like how multitasking is not the best for you. I think for some people it is. Some people it helps them kind
Yeah.
of stay on task to be able
Yeah.
to like do several things because in their mind they are actually organizing and prioritizing like several different things and able to work with that. So
Right.
some people multitasking works. You just
Yeah.
gotta kind of find what's the best system for you.
Yeah. Like if I'm like when I do watch YouTube and stuff, I'm usually playing a game on the phone too or something. Like I'm always having to do something and things. Same with driving. I think I'm always having or that's why I smoked a lot before when I drove. Like I'm always having to do something to keep my hands busy and stuff and
Yeah.
um
I just got to get my wife to not. So my wife is the like we watch TV, but she also is on her phone scrolling, and so she actually never actually pays attention to what we watch
yeah.
on TV, and then she
Right.
gets
Right.
like, "What happened? What's going on?" I'm like, did you not see that
Yeah,
scene?
did you not
You
pay
remember, do you
attention?
remember when so and
Oh,
so?
yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not going through this whole thing.
Yeah,
Like,
so I think I do. I think the way people's brains are programmed now in days, we have to put more effort into purposely focusing on what we're doing and not, you know what I'm saying, while we're doing it. Focus 100% on what you're doing while you're doing it and do the other thing after instead of trying to do five things all at the same time all the time. Like, I don't think, I mean, I think multitasking, like you said, is good for some people can do it and stuff, but I think at the same time, it can be, I don't know if we're made to do but so much at once. So
yeah,
which could mean like two to three things, but everybody seems like they're trying to do 5 to 10 things. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's always trying to overboard everything and gorge everything almost. Like
yeah.
nobody
Which I
wants
think
to
is what,
slow down or anything. Nobody even want. I didn't mean to interrupt, but nobody even wants to take time to enjoy something that they just accomplished. They're too busy on to the next thing, on to the next check thing. I don't even got time. I don't got time to enjoy it. I don't got time to this or that. I gotta, do the next thing. Like, at least that's how my brain kind of is a lot of times. But I think
yeah. I
people
think
just
that's
live that
a
way.
good point. Um, with the fact that like, so I think society in general and the culture that we are in, has kind of trained us and actually just like told us that we need to have like our minds and our lives kind of just like stockpiled with so many different things and so many different um like activities. Like my
Right.
wife and I were talking about like even how we raise our daughters. Like we talked to so many people that are like, oh, how my kids in like 6 after school things, and then like every weeknight we got something here going this way, and then on the weekends we got this and this and that. And like have like I'm like, have you spent time together, or is your
Yeah.
time spent
And
basically
you let
going from
them
like
rest at
the
all
next
because
activity?
that's important too.
Right,
Like recover.
right. And so we train our kids from a young age to always be doing something and always have something going on and have multiple things going on. Therefore, as adults, we can't we can't focus. We do get distracted on things
Yeah.
because we've been taught and we've been trained to just stay busy. And I think that's one of the biggest lies is that you have to be busy. Like
All
we
the
as a
time. Yeah.
society, like we have a hard time turning our brains off. I do it. I have a hard time turning my brain off sometimes at night. Like
Yeah.
we have a hard time being still and resting, and that's one of the commands that God gave is like be
Yep.
still.
Yeah. I'm
Like
very restless, so I literally have to like do something until my brain is just tapping out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like
right, and then we
because
consider that rest, but it's not
it's
rest. It's just
not.
our
Yeah.
brain.
I had to wear myself out until I just crashed. And that's not real rest. Yeah.
I think it's like
And people
the
wake
word
up and
busy.
feel drained and stuff and live the day. Most people live the day a little dehydrated, so their body's not functioning fully and stuff. Just a little
Right,
side note there. Little
it's
side
true.
stat.
Like you're right. We live kind of like in a dehydrated fashion. And I was saying that the word busy never appears in the Bible. Like God never
Right.
designed us to be busy.
Right.
If anything, He designed us to be like still and quiet and restful
Yeah.
and have less on our plates
Yep.
than
Simplify.
right. Which I know you preach all the time. You always talk about
Yeah,
simplifying.
I'm telling you, that's been on my mind the past like year. That word keeps popping up in my mind out of nowhere. I keep hearing it. Simplify. Or if I ask like how can I get like or if I'm asking God like how can I or how do I get reconnected to like life where I'm just naturally happy and joyful and that the way I think about everything is positive and things like that. Which I mean that might sound impossible, but I mean I don't think it is. But I don't know if that's exactly what I'm saying either or explaining it right. I guess more of you know how like you can feel halfway there and halfway not in a day,
Yeah.
kind of like foggy or fuzzy like that. And then you feel kind of like clear minded and everything. You feel more connected. Like grass feels more like grass. Air, you can smell the like air and stuff like that. That type of thing. Um.
And I think that's
Yeah.
like the act of having joy and peace and fulfillment in life. It's never going to be there if anyone, if a person lives a busy and like clutter filled life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the more that you clutter inside of your life, the less enjoyment and satisfaction and fulfillment that you're gonna
Yeah.
find.
Yeah. Cause you have to have time. You have to have time for certain things. Even like self time, mental health time, rest like recovery, rest time. Like you gotta make sure you have time in there for those things. That's why you gotta find some type of balance of like
Yeah.
working and exercising or whatever you want to say, like getting well, just like acting and moving and then sitting still. You gotta find a balance that in my opinion, I don't even think it's like a certain balance is a certain percentage is the same for everybody. I think it just depends on what your rhythm of life is. Whatever rhythm God gave you to walk in, you just gotta if you find that rhythm, that's the pace that you're supposed to be, the balance you're supposed to be at in it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that makes you have to seek who you are and what you are and all that stuff for you to be able to know that. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. I I always go back to this one video that I saw Will Smith like a while ago. He posted
Big Willie
um
style.
Big Willie style, which he just came out with a new album. I don't know if you heard his new album.
I
But I was
haven't
like,
yet,
okay,
but
okay, Will Smith. Will Smith breaking back into the rap game. Um, but he was in his hotel and he said like I was in my hotel and I was sitting there and I immediately grabbed the remote and I immediately turned on the news. He's like after like a minute or so watching the news, he was like, why am I watching the news? I hate the news.
right.
Like it always makes me feel anxious, always makes me feel stressed, always makes me feel
Yeah,
this. And he's like,
yeah,
and I kept watching it. And he's like, I realized that I wanted to have that like distraction. I wanted to have that like thing to kind of disrupt my peace. And he's like, I had to like physically, like intentionally, like turn it off and go and just sit and just
yeah,
like be still. And I totally agree with the fact that like we become so used to having distractions and being distracted that we invite it into our lives. Like there's nothing good
hmm
on the news. Like even soft news about puppies being, saved from like a tree or something like that. Like
yeah. It's
that's
nothing.
rare. Like
Right.
you don't look at the news and you find like you leave happy and enjoy.
No.
Like, but we oftentimes like invite things into our lives to disrupt the peace that we say we are actually seeking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we do that in like relationships. A lot of times, like we know what a healthy relationship looks like. We know what we're supposed to seek in a healthy relationship, but there's certain times that we entertain and invite those like things that can disrupt our peace. We do that with our like um even studying, like as a student or something like that. We know what a good study environment looks like, but we still studying over like at John's house while a party's going, knowing
Yeah.
that knowing that we're gonna be like, oh yeah, let me just close the book and I'll come back to it. Like
Yeah.
you know what it is, and so we
Yeah.
there's times when we invite distractions into our lives because while we say we want peace and we say we want something that is truly like fulfilling and something that we want to focus on, we can get tempted by those distractions and we know those distractions are there to tempt us and we want to fall for them sometimes.
Like I've uh sometimes if I'm in a bad mindset or just sometimes in general just because I'll turn everything off and I'll just like listen to the wind blow in the leaves or something like that and just look at them or something like that. And when I do that, it always, for some reason, that always reminds me of like all this stuff I'm thinking about, stressing about, worrying about how I'm gonna do it. They really, when it comes to actual life, have no meaning. Like I start really remembering like what natural just life is, and I'm like, why am I even worried about anything? I don't need to be. Like I can just slow down. I don't have to. Why? Basically, why am I putting all this on myself? Like because it's nothing else that I'm sitting here. My brain, for some reason, is trying to tell me it's something else doing it, trying to be mean. It's evil or something like that, or it's a lesson or something like that. But it's no. It's just I'm just doing it to myself. Like my own brain's doing it to me. I'm keeping my own self in the cage. I'm keeping my own self sitting there wondering what's happening. Why isn't this? Why isn't that? When I don't even have to be. Like I could just be sitting there like, oh, well, I don't even got to worry about nothing. Like, because
Right.
life
And
is just,
stillness and peace will do that.
yeah, like it just reminds me life is just simply water, air, like I said before, food. Like, and the only person that's putting time limits on anything is myself. So it's putting
Yeah.
stress on myself. It's like when I don't even need to be. So it's like, so doing that
Yeah.
just helps me slow down and like reconnects me back to I guess reality. I guess instead of
Yeah.
being in my own mind type of.
I think that's key. Like I've learned to just like I have a playlist of worship music that I listen to whenever I just want to like kind of just like recenter myself and my focus. And because like there's something about listening to some like really good worship music, and I have like my go to. I love Shane and Shane. I've always been a Shane and Shane fan. I've seen them in concert. I've followed them since the beginning, and just like simple music a lot of times, and it's just just kind of get you kind of refocus. I think that's the key is like one knowing that you have those distractions and knowing that those distractions are there and that you probably
Yeah.
have access to them, but also saying like, okay, well, what's the opposite of me seeking that distraction and seeking that that peace, right? And like foster like, and Will Smith actually said this, like fostering an atmosphere of peace.
Yeah.
Like you have a choice, you have the
Hmm.
ability to foster that
Yeah.
atmosphere,
Yeah.
to create it.
Life, a lot of life is how you choose to perceive it and view situations and view who you are, like how you view yourself and stuff. It really matters in how you view the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
And things, how you view opportunities compared to like something negative, or can you find the positive things in things that should be negative? Can you find the positive? Like, what do you choose to focus on and stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
I got
I just say one other thing that I realized lately for me that's a little different is I can almost it's almost like meditate, but not. It's like I can step on the back porch. I'll do it sometimes here. Step on the back deck. I mean, and just not really. It's not really a sunset, but like the sun going down over there. Or something. But I'll just look in the sky and just zone out and purposely block noise out everywhere. And without closing my eyes or anything, I'm able. It almost feels like I go into like this tunnel vision, but it's almost like meditating type of feeling. But and I can just kind of conversate or just listen or just kind of like the whole time in my mind I'm just thinking of I'm connect who I'm connecting to, like just thinking of I'm connecting with God, and I'm just, even if nothing's said, I'm just going to sit here and connect in this way with him purposely
mm,
and just be in that moment, you know. Like,
yeah. When I was a camp counselor, that was one of the best parts about being out in nature in the summer camp is being able to just like go somewhere and just kind of like be in nature and just listen, like you said, to the wind, the trees, the birds, the animals, feel like the ground beneath you, and just kind of like
hmm.
not to sound like one of those people that's just like, yo, just go out and feel the earth and like
Yeah.
not that, but yes, because like
Yeah.
one,
More of get grounded, like it helps you feel grounded and then
well, it
reality and stuff.
it brings you back to the core of like our relationship with God at first, which is a creator, like God being the creator of the earth, and knowing that we were created from dirt, literally the dirt,
Right. Yep.
knowing that like Adam and Eve, like their true relationship with God in the beginning was just them and nature and God, and
Hmm.
just being able to enjoy that. And a lot of times, like, and it's not trying to be like all crazy weird thing, but it is about like, hey, like God as creator, like, is one of the first and kind of like most well known attributes that we associate with our relationship with God. And knowing him as creator, knowing him as like that personage of God, realizes that he is the one that like creates the peace, the atmosphere, the wholeness of our being, and that is where we find that fulfillment. And so stepping out in nature and getting back to what I say, like getting back to Eden, right? Like getting back to where it's like you and God and
Yeah.
what He's created for you,
Just
like
natural
truly does
life.
reset.
Yeah. 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 So if you purposely seek him You'll find them. I feel like that's kind of what I do when I just step outside for a second and just kind of like zone out and in my mind connect. That's all I'm focused on is just connecting with God and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times a lot of times I hear something. Then my problem is with my mind is always like I said with the reading is like retaining it and remembering when the moments happen, remembering what was told to me a couple days ago or something. You know what I mean? Like, or remembering
Mm.
to act in that way when the in the moment. You know what I mean? Not after the moment's over and then remember like, oh crap, that's
Right,
right,
right.
that's right, that's what I was supposed to do. Well, I guess I hopefully I get it next time.
Yeah.
Because I know it's gonna come back
No.
around till I learn it or get it. So hopefully I get it next time.
But it always brings you back to that story of in the Bible, Mary and Martha, where like Jesus is visiting his friends, and you get the two sisters, Mary and Martha. Martha is like busy throughout the house and doing stuff and fixing the house and cleaning and cooking and doing all this stuff, and Mary is just chilling, like literally just listening to Jesus talk. And um, Martha gets kind of upset and is like, like I'm doing all this work, try to make sure like Jesus and his disciples,
Hmm.
everyone's, fed and taken care of and everything like that. And going to Jesus and like, Jesus, like tell Mary to get busy. Basically what it is. Tell Mary to get busy. And Jesus like, no, like Mary's doing the right thing. Like
Yeah,
she's just sitting and listening and
yeah.
kind of and connecting and focusing on me, and not that Martha was doing anything wrong. Like all that stuff is good stuff. And I think all
Hmm.
the distractions, like there's going to be
Right.
distractions that we have
Yeah.
that are good things, right? But like, what is going to be the right thing?
Because
And that is,
if it, well, you gotta think. You gotta think. I don't know if it's just common sense or not. I don't know to me to my brain is, but you gotta think like if it's something that seems bad to you, you're not gonna pay attention, so you're not gonna be distracted by it. So it has to be something. A distraction is gonna have to be something that you're attracted to in some type of way, or you're
yeah,
not gonna give it attention. So I mean, you just gotta think about that type of thing. It's a game kind of that plays stuff plays out here.
right.
Like
I think that, and then like, you just got me thinking about like when Jesus was tempted in the desert, right? With Satan, and Satan
yeah,
throws all these distractions at him, right? There's these temptations. Because I
hmm,
think temptations and distractions are very, very similar.
yeah,
Like they're not always the same thing, but for the most part, temptations and distractions are gonna be similar.
right,
So he's throwing out all these things of like, hey, like testing one God's like sovereignty and like, hey, yo, if you're really God, like, which I know you are, right?
hmm,
Just command these stones
yeah,
to be bread, or hey, tell get on the top of this building, like all these distractions to kind of like, which are not lies, and they're not like something that you would necessarily think like, okay, God, like Jesus, why don't just turn the stones into bread? Like, what's the big deal there?
yeah,
But again, Jesus answering with scripture and it's just like, listen, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to, how you're trying to distract me. I know what you're trying to tempt me with. Like, and that's not going to happen. And that's the
hmm,
focus. And like you said, like there's going to be stuff that is not going to seem bad. It's not going to seem so. It's like, why not? Like, why not be distracted by this, or why not kind of like deviate from this?
hmm,
But
yeah,
you gotta really know
hmm,
like what is the
yeah.
right thing.
I mean, you could. I mean, if you know God told you to say God told you to go to building A and do something, but on your way you see somebody walking, or something, or you don't even know or something, and decide to give them a ride. It's not a bad thing, but it's distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. Like, so they're not even necessarily, they don't seem bad because they aren't bad, but it's not what you're supposed to be doing. It's like it's almost let me better example maybe is like you go to work, you help somebody else do their job, but you didn't do yours. You didn't necessarily do a bad thing, but you did the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be focusing over here and over there with this thing, not over here with this thing. Like
Right.
so it wasn't
That could
bad, but
that
it
could
was
have
a distraction from what you were supposed to be doing. Like
that could have so many different fallbacks, right? Like think about Noah. If Noah Noah could have gotten distracted a lot of times. I'm like, yo, Noah, you've been working hard. How about
yeah,
just chill and do this for a little bit. A
hmm
little distraction for Noah probably could have meant the ark not being done by the flood,
yeah, yeah.
right?
It would have been a
Or like a
whole
little
different,
distraction, right?
whole
Little
different
distraction from
story.
like a work project can mean the work project not getting done
Yeah,
or sufficiently done. A little distraction from your family could mean
yep.
like
Cause
something
domino
happening
problems. Yeah,
with your kids or your spouse. A little distraction from your spiritual life
yeah,
um, could truly just mean like you making some stupid decisions, which I know
yeah,
we all been there.
yeah. Sometimes we gotta
um,
learn, you know.
yeah,
Sometimes, just on that point too, though, like sometimes we do have to learn. Sometimes God will put you through certain things so you can learn. But um, in distractions, there's a lot of them. It's very easy, especially somebody that messes with audios. Noise is something that distracts me a lot. Just the simplest little noises, but so it's very simple to get distracted. Definitely like want to be focused, but also like stay focused, not get distracted, but also like we said before, remember to balance like recovery, rest, and like some you time in there too and stuff like that. Like it's okay. Maybe it's not even being distracted. It's more it's okay to. I wouldn't even say it's not even really taking a break. It's just part of the process. It's just like rest and that stuff is part of all the process. So it's like,
yeah. It's a cleansing aspect, really, too. I think that's
yeah, maybe that's a better
a
way.
way of the like cleanse. And this may be like, and again, certain people may have certain levels of this. Like some people may need to do this daily. Some people may need to just like, hey, maintenance every once in a while, but like look at your life and the things that are kind of like causing you to like not focus on the right things. Well, first figure out what those right things are. Like, you know, you have a family should be a focus, right?
Yeah,
Um, we're doing good in the community, that should be a good focus there, right? Your job, obviously being, a focus if that's the case, like
yeah,
figure out what those right things are and then figure out what those distractions can be and work on ways to kind of clear those, right? And that may take you stepping back. It may take you like just being still, because you, like I said, like with all of the training that we have in our society to like just constantly be distracted with stuff, constantly have things in front of us, constantly be on some sort of screen, whatever it may be, like how are you going to hear the voice of God? How are you going to hear like the calling that you're supposed to have
yeah,
on your life?
yeah. So going back to like that's going back to the whole Mary thing. Like all that work wasn't a bad thing needed to be done, right? But it was so much noise because it was so much at once that she didn't hear. She wasn't hearing God. You know what I mean? Whereas, and if you were just take time to be still throughout the day, sometime take a little break, be still, and listen and things like that, you'll understand and or you'll hear. You know what I mean? Like you'll hear direction, you'll hear guidance, you'll hear answers sometimes the things you've been waiting on you'll hear you'll hear what you need to in that moment and stuff. You just gotta take push pause sometime and purposely take that time out to do that though. Too many things
Facts.
going on in life nowadays.
So true. So true. Yeah,
Some of it
I
has to
always
do
have
with the
to.
internet, but
Yeah,
a lot of
and
it
it's
probably has to do with the
access.
internet. Yeah,
access to
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
is huge.
Cause
Like I have to kind of like I still have to do this. Like there's times when I'm kind of better at than others of just like being able to like weed out some of the distractions or just to take a break from some certain things. Like
yeah,
even good things. Like take a break from it sometimes.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and just be still and be like quiet and listen. Um, so yeah, that's something that I'm trying to do more of.
yeah. Refresh.
Especially
Yeah,
yeah, refresh, reset, and just be still.
yeah.
Be still.
Be still and listen. Might save you from running head first into something you didn't want to. Running
Right.
face first into it. Just
Right. And
bam.
get rest before you drive 10 hours.
Yeah, that would be a smart thing.
that
Yeah.
that I definitely got to work on. Yeah.
I mean, they do have certain narcotics for us. No, it's playing. No, I'm just joking, everybody.
Mostly do like a dog, just like roll down the window and just like stick my head out.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
that's why I pictured you doing it on the way back when you got tired.
I would do that, but I'm almost afraid like to
Ace
get like a fly
Ventura,
or
that
something
mother,
stuck in my mouth.
right around
I do
here.
that and I got like flies hitting me in the face.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I don't know. I think we covered a lot.
we we did.
Um, yeah.
I know what we're talking about next week.
I don't
Maybe someone will give us
know.
some suggestions.
Yeah. If y'all
Someone,
got any suggestions, leave it down in the YouTube comments
yes, do do
or
do that.
send it to the IG, the Instagrams.
You to be distracted. I am almost done with this book that I've been writing. I'm almost through the editing aspect
Yeah.
of it. So stay tuned this year. I'm determined this year it is going to be fully published. It's going to be awesome. So I'll keep everyone updated on that. But try to
Insta-
fight through the distractions. Tomorrow I have some time like set out to like and put work into it. There's a lot
Instagram.
of work
Yep.
doing a book.
Instagram
A lot of
sounds
work.
like a AI company that sells you grandma robots or something. Instagram.
Instagram. That would be actually that would
Buy
probably
your
sell.
grandma
Actually,
today.
that would sell. Like robotic grandmas. Man,
Yeah, that's like I robots coming true though.